Welcome. I'm actually going to record all of the October episodes wearing this mask and drinking out of this thing. You're listening to Popcorn Theory, the podcast where cinema gets dissected, discussed, and devoured with extra. Welcome. You're listening to Popcorn Theory, the podcast where cinema gets dissected, discussed, and devoured with extra butter. I'm Aline, a film and TV grad with a soft spot for Halloween, and tonight I'm having nightmares. So grab your popcorn, put your phones on silent, and don't steal candy from kids if their mothers are around. Just do it when nobody's watching. Okay, this has been such a chaotic week. I had an episode planned for Wednesday that was supposed to come out Wednesday, but I had so much work. I'm working a couple of jobs, and they all just stuck up this week. So I was unable to do the research and everything that I had to do for the episode. That episode, I'm pushing it back to next week. I'm still working on it. But yeah, I'm really excited about that one, but it's really time consuming. So I'm taking my time with that one because I want to do it really, really well. But yeah, it's been a chaotic week, and I've just been working on other film things. Very exciting. But I haven't had time to finish the episode. So today I'm actually talking about something different. I am reviewing a film that is incredibly interesting. Given that we're in spooky season, I will have to make little to no alterations to my episodes, given that I've literally hardly talked about anything other than horror films in this. Until now, because for me, every season is spooky season, and I love October, as you might already know. So for the month of October, I will be reviewing and talking about horror and spooky, and a lot of cool spooky episodes are coming for this month of October, so I'm really, really excited about that. But today I will be talking about a very controversial film. I have recently watched a movie called Skinamarink. You might know the film, you might not. The film is incredibly divisive amongst viewers. Some people find it completely boring and really nothing's happening in the film, and some people find it extremely terrifying. So I'm gonna talk about what the film is, why it is, and how it is. Two children wake up in the middle of the night to find their father is missing, and all of the windows and doors in their home have vanished. Written and directed by Kyle Edward Ball, Skinamarink is an experimental horror film that somehow managed to divide the internet in half. When it premiered, some people called it the scariest movie that they've ever seen, like a pure nightmare captured on tape. Some other people said that it was like an endurance test, like an overhyped YouTube video that was stretched to be a feature-length film. But what's fascinating isn't just the film itself, it's how it became this viral phenomenon and why it got so many people so angry, and why it had this crazy response in so many people, and it was so divisive. Some people were over here and some other people were over there, and I have my own take on it, which I will get to later on. So if you weren't around when it first blew up, here's kind of the recap of what happened. Skinamarink leaked online before its official release. It spread through TikTok and Reddit like crazy. People were posting reactions, theories, a lot of pirated links. It turned into this underground horror myth before anybody had even really seen it. Some people called it liminal horror, which I think fits very well. Others said that it wasn't even a movie, and I think that's kind of the point. Skinamarink doesn't rely on traditional scares or plot. It's atmosphere, childhood fear, and like this uncanny feeling of being trapped somewhere that's familiar but wrong. It's not about what you see, it's about what you don't see. And it's your job to fill in the gaps. And I think that's a big reason as to why some people find the film terrifying and why some people find it boring. So today I want to dive into the controversy. Why people were so divided, what it says about how we watch horror today, and why Skinamarink might actually be a very important horror film of this decade, even if half the audience walked out of the theater. But before we get into all of that, we have the popcorn break. Yay! I actually got recommended this popcorn by an avid viewer, by a friend of mine. She's awesome, and she was like, "You have to try the ones from like Automercado." This one is palomitas de maíz sabor mantequilla y caramelo light. So it's butter and caramel. I mean, it looks good. She said that it's good. I am hoping I like this because, honey, my dogs are... You don't want to hear about Skinamarink? No? Also, how cute is this? I got a bunch of new popcorn buckets, and this is my Halloween popcorn, my Halloween themed popcorn bucket that I'm so excited about. But yeah. Okay, let's try these. Oh yeah. Okay, these smell what I want popcorn to smell like. This smells like a fucking movie theater. Why am I so aggressive about that? This smells like a movie theater. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying, but it does. It smells like when you go into a movie theater. This is what I want film to smell like. This is what I imagine film smells like. Oh, I'm gonna have so much fun. I already know. My dogs want this so bad. This right here is the definition of what I'm looking for in popcorn. It's, you have the butter, you have the caramel, you have the sweet and salty. It looks normal, it's crunchy. It's not like, I've had problems with the texture and the size of these before, and this is just 10 out of 10. It's perfect. The smell is great. They're light. I don't know what that means, but we don't worry about calories here. This is a great to-go, very classic style of popcorn. And I'm so excited for everybody to try this. Also, because they're so classic and like timeless, it's like uno solo. What did you say? Yeah, I mean, it's the classic popcorn that you want, that you expect, that you want to bring to the theater. It's not really creative, but we don't need it to be creative. We need it to be good. Also, the balance of like eating a butter one with a caramel one at the same time is perfect. They complement each other so well. We can compare. But this to me is... Can you not sit there? I swear, I thought it was a ghost for a second. Are we getting haunted? Maybe. We're getting haunted by my pug. It's so chaotic. Okay. Let's rearrange this a little bit. Classic. Perfect. Yeah, I have nothing bad to say about this. Like, absolutely nothing bad. These are perfect. They're good. I'm sorry if you don't have an automercado where you live, because these are great combination of like butter and caramel. This is classic popcorn. This is five popcorn meter. The popcorn meter. It gets a perfect score on the popcorn meter. I am so tired. I need the... Let's break down what the film actually is. What it feels like. Feels like a nightmare. It's like you're trapped in this nostalgic, dark place from your childhood. We never really see the characters. We're always at a very... The camera is placed really low on the ground. It's like you're watching it from a child's point of view, which is kind of the point. We see feet in the back of characters, in the backs of characters, but we never see the faces. Not really. We don't really focus on characters or movements. We linger on like walls or ceilings or like dark corners or like the flicker of an old TV. We see the old TV in cartoons a lot, old cartoons. We spend just minutes staring at like doorways or shadows of things that may or may not be moving. Very creepy. The texture of the film, I think, plays a key role. I think it makes the film feel alive. Lola, God, Jesus. Baby, me vas a tirar el café, corazón de mi vida. Amor. The texture of the film makes it feel alive almost. The VHS grain creates this very uncanny movement and ambience in the negative space of everything that we're seeing. And it's incredibly effective. I found myself kind of squinting and trying to figure out what I was seeing a lot of the time. And yeah, the film is built around fragments. Muffled dialogue. There's a lot of muffled dialogue. The grain I was talking about, the darkness, and kind of how it almost hums. There's no score, no clean images. It's just the incessant, constant static that makes you feel like you're watching this like old corrupted tape. It's very intentionally disorienting. You never really know how much time has passed. You never get to really understand what's going on or what's happening truly. The director he wants us to remember. This is what I feel. He kind of wants us to remember what being scared of like the dark, or like what being scared feels like as a kid. He portrays this like very nostalgic and specific feeling that you get as a kid, but it has to do with fear, and I think that's so interesting. The low angles, the quiet, the long shots of like nothing happening. They create this atmosphere where your brain is like forced to like fill in the blanks. You start like hearing things that aren't really there, or seeing shapes in the shadows. At that point, it's not the movie scaring you. You're scaring yourself. I'm scaring myself right now. It's like too late for me to be talking about this crazy movie. I rewatched it today, and it's creeping me out now talking about it this fucking late. I'm never scared of horror movies. Honey. He loves to go through the cables and just throw everything. Every time I'm like watching a movie on the projector, he finds a way to step on every single cable and disconnect it. Okay. The low angles, the quiet, the long shots of like nothing happening. They create this atmosphere where your brain is forced to fill in the blanks. And at that point, you start hearing things that aren't there, or seeing like shapes that like in the shadows and in the grain. That's why the texture brings so much. You start seeing shapes in it. This is my take on the film. The idea that the film's horror depends on the noise level of your own mind. That, I think, is why the film is so divisive. We all think differently. A lot of us have a way of scaring. Why am I trying to say that? That's not a word. Of scaring yourself. For some people, nothing happens. It's just static in dark rooms. But for others, like me, it's absolutely terrifying. I think it depends on how loud your own mind is. If you have a quiet mind, maybe it's just like a boring nightlight of like a movie. But if your head is full of like noise and what ifs, if you overthink, if you spiral, this film becomes sort of dark mirror, black mirror. It traps you inside your own like thoughts, and suddenly it's not just dark on screen, it's dark up here. That's such a creepy way of like seeing it, but I kept thinking about it. I kept coming back to it and being like, I've watched so many horror films. And I don't get scared easily of films, especially because I know what goes behind them. So I remember being a kid, and I always liked creepier things, scary films, horror movies, horror tales, books and things. And yes, they creeped me out, but I was never scared. Like, it never lingered. Or it did, I guess. But not this way. Not this old. And I watched it recently. I watched it for this episode that never came out. And that will come out. And, honey. So, we're finishing the episode with honey right here. I've watched a lot of scary movies and, like, horror films. And I never found myself thinking about a film a lot like this. Like I did for this one. I was very weirded out in a way that I was like, I've never really experienced something like this with a horror film. It was something very unique and very intentional. I looked up everything behind it, and I was like, it's so controversial because some people found it so boring. And I was like, how do some people find it so boring and then other people find it like the scariest film ever made? I was very, like, that thought kept coming back to me, and I was like, why do I find it so terrifying? What about it do I find so terrifying? What were the moments that I was like, you know? And I think it was the fact that in the film, there's definitely enough for you to like be creeped out, but you're making up most of it. The film gives you a drop of something and you make it into this waterfall, you know what I mean? And it's all up here. I think I'm really good at creating monsters, and that will always be more terrifying to me than watching a spinning mirror. You know what I mean? Sometimes people just look at an empty room and they just see an empty room. But a lot of people look at an empty room and they imagine things. They see things. Personally, I was terrified. So yeah, I'll leave you to go watch Skinamarink if you dare. I tried to ask some people to watch it with me. They wouldn't agree. Ooh, okay. So I'll leave you to watch Skinamarink if you dare. But if you do, please remember to bring your own popcorn. Probably this one. Because if you haven't heard, 100% of people who don't bring their own popcorn end up stealing from somebody else's bucket. So, bring your own damn popcorn. Right? Yeah, bring your own damn popcorn. I have so many cool episodes planned for this month. So, yeah, stay tuned for that. And 1 episode a week. I'll usually try to make it for Wednesdays. If I can't, it's because I'm working a lot. I'm gonna go rewatch Severance with my mom right now. Bye. Do you want to say something? Welcome. Amor, baby. Tenemos que calmarnos. Go to sleep. It's too late for you. You should not have this much energy. Go. Lola, please, babes. No. Perfect.